Okay, what's up guys? So Jimmy made a video about MMOs and then Asmongold reacted to that video and then Jimmy reacted to Asmongold's reaction to that video and then as a response to further that line of thinking, Jimmy made another video which Asmongold reacted to, again, specifically about nostalgia, and then Jimmy reacted once more to that reaction of the video that was a reaction of all the videos in consecutive order are just going to be linked in the description. So if you have the context, welcome. If you don't have the context, that's okay. Welcome. I'm going to watch Jimmy's video and react to the reaction of the, I think you get it at this point. If we come down to Jimmy's latest reaction video, we have Bro, This Is Unhinged. And then we have 9rain has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever with reacting to this. Of course, I think he means by reacting to this. So Jimmy gives us a little intro that just basically says he doesn't mind Asmongold reacting to his stuff, and then mentions how this is all in good fun, which, welcome. Hello, this is all in good fun. So I guess we'll just get to it.
Let's watch a video where he says a lot of stupid shit that I'm gonna disagree with and win the argument about. RuneScape doesn't need nostalgia, I say.
Old school RuneScape is often paired with the word nostalgia.
By the way, first 3 seconds in, I already got my first pause. Asmon, if you're ever watching my
I've just realized I'm like in front of Jimmy. Okay, I think this is going to be more difficult than I thought, but we'll probably go right above Jimmy right here.
videos, bottom left.
The game currently stands in its 11th year of existence and takes place in the top 3 most played MMORPGs. And I am here to say that nostalgia has not been a driving force to get old school to where it is right now. In fact, I would argue that nostalgia has never been a true contributor to old school success. It's not the
Yeah, no, I actually agree with that. People give me the nostalgia thing all the time, and I just don't think that's true. I mean, it might make the game more fun for you, but I played the game back since Classic all the way up until like 2006, 2007, whenever they ruined the game. And then I quit and I didn't come back till like 2018. And when I started playing again, the game was so different even by then. And more than that, the things that I was doing were so different. The community was so different. And the way that you play through the game and the fact that there was Iron Man and all that stuff. Nothing that I did was nostalgic. But like I used to merch and you'd stand in Falador and type and stuff. And so none of it's nostalgic to me. The music does make me feel nostalgic though. So I think that's just a truth about music in general.
The reason any of us are here. See, recently I made this.
I'm gonna have my camera placed probably over his chat for most of the video, but for this part I want you to see. This is what we're dealing with here, all right? All these probably WoW players who were disappointed with their release of WoW Classic, who didn't get to experience what we experienced. I feel so sorry for them.
Okay, I've never played WoW, so if you're a WoW player, hello and welcome to the video. I've heard great things about all of you. I have really high expectations for how you might take this. But if I'm being honest, you're not worse than RuneScape players. We're probably worse. Maybe.
Chat was hard to watch. I'll be honest. This chat was egging him on with a lot of stupid shit. I got a quarrel with these people. Type in that shit.
OSRS came up a few times. And not to pump my own tires or anything, but I think it was a pretty good video. However, you know what I think about it doesn't matter because one of you people decided to send it over for a peer review. Which, first of all, you were supposed to send this one. I wanted that to be reviewed.
Look, I'll do that eventually.
Well, you better still not watch this video.
Motherfucker,
it's 40 minutes.
But it's fine because
40 minutes. That's nothing to you.
Actually, and this video that I'm reviewing is 1 hour and 6 minutes. And I think every time it's just going to keep getting longer. So this chain better stop at some point. Things are going to get out of hand for sure. There's like 3 Jimmys, 2 Asmongolds, and a 9rain on screen right now. And I don't actually know what to make of it. There's also a guy with his ass out right behind my head.
You fucking watch it. What else? You scrolling through Reddit? Open the damn video. Fucking watch it.
I'll watch it at some point.
Yeah, some point.
That way I get the last word in.
Okay.
So I win arguments by default.
Look at this graph. This is terrible.
It's just beautiful.
Look at how good the motion capture is and how photorealistic Baldur's Gate 3 facial capture is.
Doesn't matter for an MMO.
I think that plays such a massive role in why.
I don't think that I disagree with that. It doesn't matter for an MMO. Why not?
Wait for it.
The game is popular.
WoW doesn't even, when they're giving you a quest for the Alliance, he says, as he just said a novel of things to you, and I don't even think his mouth moves when he says for the Alliance.
Anyway.
Is anybody else lost? Does anybody else? I was fully prepared to react to this, but I actually don't know how many layers deep we are at this point. I think this is the first video with Jimmy. Oh, fuck. I'm so confused. I'm going to try and react to the Jimmy that's beneath me and then the Asmongold at the top corner. Oh, God.
Wait, during this peer review, Asmon said something I've heard a lot.
If this game came out today, it wouldn't be as popular as it is. It only exists because people have nostalgia for it for 25 or 30 years.
Oh, so this is actually what he's referring to, probably with the response video that said RuneScape isn't popular because of nostalgia. Okay, yeah, I agree with Jimmy here. I don't know. I think the charm of RuneScape is how shitty it looks, and that's like half of the fun. And the fact, I mean, WoW players should know this better than anybody. WoW is cartoonish, and like, that's one of the reasons it holds up is it's not attempting to be something else. Do I think RuneScape is a great looking game? No, not really. It does look stupid, but that's why we like it. That's actually why we like it.
That's the main reason.
And that must have been the tip of the iceberg.
He's not happy about that.
I opened a Word document and here we are. As someone who has 2 different old school RuneScape series that can be linked directly to nostalgia, I'm here to set it straight. When I say this, I'm not just talking about MMORPGs. Old school RuneScape is one of the greatest video games ever made. Nostalgia.
No, that's true. I actually think that that's probably true. Do I think that that's true? I think one of the things that makes it so good is that it's shitty. And by that I mean like Dark Souls or something. Like the game's always, the amount of times that I've been playing RuneScape and I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with the people who made this game? Why do I have to suffer through this to get the things that I want? But it's precisely the act of suffering through things to get the things that you want that gives you that sense of accomplishment when you finally did them. And in some sense, the suckier the thing you had to get through to get the thing that you want, the better the feeling as you move towards your goal. So I actually think that RuneScape might be up there like top 10 greatest games of all time.
Has not done the legwork to get it there. But I'm not in the mood to talk about it because I'm hungry and my personal chef is going to make me not hungry anymore.
I'm not even going to show the chat.
Oh, I see.
Because they suck.
Hello, I'm not the same guy. I'm a chef. When Jimmy hired me, I didn't know how to cook anything. They told me to apply to as many jobs as possible and just lie on my resume.
But, oh yeah, I guess you must have watched my videos.
I did. This is actually directly inspired by some shit he was saying about telling people to lie on their resume, and I kind of took that and made fun of it with this guy lying on his resume and getting hired for something.
So you're telling me that Jimmy watched a video of Asmongold where he talked about lying in your resume, and then he put it in an ad for the video here that Asmongold reacted to, and then Jimmy reacted to that, and here we are watching the ad based on
that he should not have gotten hired with. I kind of forgot about that when I came up with the idea, but I was just like toying with the idea of lying on your resume. And the last time I saw that or listened to that was him saying it on a video to people. And it just made me think like, what kind of dumbass is going to lie about being a chef on their resume or something? It'd be really silly.
I think that, by the way, I think nostalgia plays a huge role. It plays a tremendous, insurmountable role. And I think that we'll get a comparison because that new game that RuneScape, one of the developers or makers of RuneScape is making, what's it called? I think it's like something with it starts with a W or something like that, like Shores maybe. Like what is it
Brighter
again?
Shores.
Brighter Shores. Yeah, there you go. Brighter Shores. Well, we're gonna have to wait and see. Yeah, let's see what happens because.
So obviously, very silly thing to say immediately. So Brighter Shores. Yes, is a game being developed by Andrew Gower, who, along with his 2 other brothers, did create old school RuneScape. And this is his personal, basically, retirement passion project. And you could definitely tell that...
A retirement passion project? Damn, Jimmy. You're putting Andrew in that category already? I mean, maybe this is his, like, farewell... What do they call that? What's it called when a composer writes their last song? Whatever. You know what I'm saying.
There are RuneScape 3 looking aesthetics here. But honestly, That's about it for comparison.
Maybe it's a fun game. I don't know. I'm going to try Brighter Shores, but I do think it's kind of a false comparison, but that's fine.
This is not going to be another RuneScape. It's going to be not really much like it at all. In my comments section of my MMO video, the hearted comment at the top was mentioning Brighter Shores, and I had not included it in the final draft of the video. I was being very harsh on Brighter Shores, so I didn't want to include it because I felt kind of rude, because I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. Since it was a discussion about the future of MMOs, like what the next big thing was, I was going to be making the point in there that Brighter Shores is not that thing. Brighter Shores will have a little bit of success. A lot of RuneScape players are going to try it out. A handful of them might stay there. I really don't see this being like a big mass appeal game. I truly do think this is just Andrew Gower's passion project that he's been working on and excited to put out. It's his game that he's envisioned for a while now. I can't tell. There's not much we know. We don't know enough about Brighter Shores.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Brighter Shores. We'll see. I mean, we'll just play the game, and if it's fun, it's fun. What makes RuneScape so playable for so long is the fact that so many people are doing it. Like, it's kind of one of those things, like, once you have stuff, you get stuff. Having a big player base already, and I know RuneScape didn't start that way back in the day. Obviously, nothing starts that way, but having a big player base already means that your accomplishments mean something to other people, so I don't know. We'll see with Brighter Shores. I don't even know if it's going to be like an MMO or open world. Not really open world, but I don't know if there's going to be some kind of MMO style economy, or if it's going to be, I guess it's going to be an online game. I don't know.
Shores to really say whether or not we think it's going to, do super well or going to be fun. I don't know what I'm looking at. I know that you walk on squares. I know there's skilling. I know that it's not going to be on a tick system. People are chopping trees.
Isn't everything on a tick system? Am I crazy? I mean, it's not going to be like a RuneScape tick system maybe, but technically you're always measuring the passage of time in a game on some metric, right? And those are ticks. Whatever.
Mysteries, puzzles, it looks like. I don't know. It's hard to tell what's going on here. I don't know what the game's going to be like. I don't know if these are all supposed to be players or NPCs, or if you're controlling multiple NPCs. I don't know. I am hoping for Andrew Gower's success. I'm not, trying to put the game down in any way. I'm just saying it's probably not going to have a big mass appeal like Asmon was, kind of insinuating it will have if there's this much demand for a RuneScape-like game, because it's kind of a very reach of an argument putting Brighter Shores in the discussion of old school RuneScape's nostalgia. There's essentially no connection there. It's not going to be a good way to look at it. So I don't like the argument of Brighter Shores. He brings it up later, but just know that old school's nostalgia and success, you really can't use Brighter Shores and how that performs later on as a supportive argument because of how different this game is going to be. There's going to be no connection between this game and old school RuneScape. I really wouldn't look at Brighter Shores as any sort of comparison here.
Now, obviously, it's not the same game, so it's like, it's hard to really compare. But the reason why people asked for old school RuneScape is fundamentally nostalgia. It's in the name. That's the reason.
I think that's a fair point. If old school RuneScape was released today, I don't think anyone would play it. If it didn't have a history, I think that's actually a good point. I don't think anyone would play it, but I also think that that's probably true for like most things, not even just games. Like if they released mail today and they were just like, look, you could send letters to people. It would be crazy. I don't think anyone would download mail on Steam. So like the time that something came out is relevant, I guess, to whether or not people like it and use it. So I think I agree with Asmon that if he's saying that if he released it today, no one would play it, he's right. True. I don't think that means that people are necessarily playing it because of nostalgia. And really the whole argument with, hey, you play RuneScape primarily for nostalgia is insinuating that it doesn't like have the gameplay or other reasons to back it up. And I'm not sure that that's true.
He says it's in the name.
Old school RuneScape is often paired with the word nostalgia, which is understandable. It's in the name.
It is in the name.
Old school RuneScape. The game currently...
It's the first thing I said. You can't use that as an argument.
But if you contradicted yourself in the video, maybe he could. I mean, it is in the name. We've all said it now.
Asmon, I already acknowledged that. That's a counterpoint that I've acknowledged immediately.
Fair enough.
That's a good ad.
That's actually a good move by Jimmy. Well played, Jimmy.
That's a very good ad.
For life. People are going to think you got Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Hey,
use that code.
If he thinks this one's good, wait till the Starforge ad. I will be doing a Starforge ad.
Nostalgia in the video game world has become very messy because nowadays it's pretty common to weaponize nostalgia into this marketing tactic.
We weaponize nostalgia? Wait a minute, guys. First of all, that is the most buzzword thing I've heard Jimmy say all video. And we're going to go ahead and get this out of the way. What the fuck is a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations? What do they mean by sentimental? Oh no, they put nostalgia in the definition of sentimental. I guess we'll never know.
Just a little party trick they pull to make a quick buck at the expense of us remembering what it was like when our life was...
It used to be good. Yeah, I remember how it used to be. Back in my day, you know, I used to be on vent.
Simple and happy. Very kind of them. Most recently, you can look at the Star Wars Battlefront collection.
Wait a minute. Is Trump's Make America Great Again just a bid for nostalgia? Wait a minute. It's a nostalgic marketing tactic to evoke sentimental feelings of the past. No. By the way, I just watched the debate yesterday, and we're not going to go there because I don't think we have to. For the first time in maybe my life, pretty much the entire American population agrees on something. We're fucked. It looks bad. It looks really bad. So and we're moving on.
Oh, that was bad.
Collection. When that thing was first announced, I thought I was going insane, seeing all the positivity surround
Vote with your
the
dollar.
announcement of that. Because everyone's just going bananas for this big release of the classic collection.
I can't imagine, like, because, so remember whenever, I think it was Bluehole, whenever they made the remake of Demon Souls?
My twin was an art lead and a concept artist on that game, and like a lot of the shit that you'll see in that game, my twin helped make it. And a lot of my friends too, actually. So if you guys remember from the Grardor video when I did the, I sold the disc plate with Nynaeve on it, and I said my twin drew it. That's why it was so good. Or he painted it. That's why it was so good, because he's a professional and he worked on the game that Asmon's talking about.
And it was just this amazing fucking like 4K quality, PlayStation 5, like incredible game. And it was the same price, I think, almost at least, as just a fucking reskin. Like, what? How do you do that?
If it wasn't this available thing to everybody with a semi-running computer. What was that about?
Point? I don't remember.
$30 for a texture
It's Blue Point. It's Blue Point.
pack.
Blue Point.
It's that
Yeah,
kind
maybe.
of thing in the entertainment
Did I say Blue Hole? Asmon tricked me, I guess. It's Blue Point.
industry.
The classic collection pissed me off, dude.
Negative connotation around the word nostalgia. Things like remastered games, their goal is for a quick cash grab, very short term. Get everyone to purchase it, never look at it again. But with a situation like old school RuneScape, it's not really the case of releasing something once and then forgetting about it just to make money for a second. Jagex really didn't want to do this whole old school idea, coming up with basically every excuse in the book not to do it. I'm sure most of you have seen the
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
You know, you think you do, but you don't.
Yep.
Vanilla WoW received when asked the question. Didn't exactly age that well, but honestly.
So this is actually interesting. There was a comment on my main video that made actually a really good point and said, actually, because I said that didn't age well, but they said it actually did age well because of how Blizzard handled that. Because when they did release Classic, they were still set on the fact that players were looking for nostalgia. They were wanting to feel nostalgia, which is not what players wanted. That's not what they were asking for. They were asking the same thing that old school was, and said, we liked the game a lot more back then. The game was just fundamentally better back then. That's what old school RuneScape players wanted. I wish I would have articulated this more when I was making the video and writing the script, but obviously a lot of this stuff, my comment section and just feedback I get on it will put the ideas in my head like, man, like I wish I would have worded that same way, you know. So it's hard to, you know, get everything said that I want to say when I'm making the video, but that was a really good point that it actually did age well. The devs said you think you do, but you don't, because they never got the whole nostalgia thing out. It's the reason that they have that middle server that is going with the expansions. It's like repeating nostalgia bait, and that's all they're doing.
Okay, so I actually think Jimmy's kind of making a decent point here. I think the point here is that what gamers are trying to say is like, hey, you made a good game and then you screwed it up along the way. Can we just get the good game back? Whenever RuneScape announces a new update for OSRS, people freak out and they get really attached to whether or not the game is getting easier or harder. And I understand protecting the integrity of the game, but easier and harder are relative and don't really matter in the end of things. As far as I'm concerned, what you should be striving for is a play experience and game design that's consistent and coherent throughout the entire game, that is fun, difficult, rewarding, sometimes easy, sometimes monotonous, sometimes really involved, sometimes some AFK, and all this talk about nostalgia or not nostalgia, new versus old, I don't think it really matters. It's like if you make a good game and it's fun to play, nobody cares. People don't care. When a new game comes out, they're not like, this is nostalgic, we wanted nostalgia. It just make a good game. And what's good? I don't know. Do people like playing it? And are they going to play it again?
The only thing that really came out of classic WoW that was different, that saw a crazy amount of success, was hardcore, classic hardcore. From the original, like the 2006 version of the game, which is, some people try to correct me on it. It was like, oh, it's 2004. That was when classic WoW came out. The classic WoW that we can play is 2006. It's a 2006 backup of the game. When they introduced a hardcore mode, the official one, not the plugin, the OnlyFans stuff was happening, and WoW had a crazy big burst of views, and watched a bunch of big creators take part in a hardcore WoW account. The raids happening. It was amazing. They should have done that years ago. They just didn't capitalize on it. I still don't think, to this day, that Blizzard realizes that that was not because of nostalgia that succeeded as well as it did. The reason that they saw such a crazy boom of subs was not because people felt nostalgia playing a hardcore account. Nobody played a hardcore account before this. No one was playing hardcore accounts in 2006 WoW. Nobody. That would have been the stupidest idea you could possibly give to anybody in 2006. When they tried something like that, and you see how much creators can do with something like that, especially with creators as big of communities as they have, like Soda Pop, and building that entire guild from the ground up, getting a bunch of creators that normally don't even play WoW to try it. How much more proof do you need that just using 2006 WoW and innovating different systems, integrating different systems, can help the game out? They just didn't capitalize on it. Obviously, I'm not a WoW expert here. I can't really give suggestions that probably would be immediately countered. There just hasn't been attempts to play around with that classic WoW system and game engine. They're doing all this shit with like the expansions, like the Miss of Pandaria stuff, which I tried. And as somebody who did not experience Miss of Pandaria first, I was playing it as a newer player and was like, why the fuck am I doing this? What does this do for me? Like, I don't like this. Like, this isn't that fun. I mean, it's just leveling a WoW character a little faster again. Like, what is this? It was their take on the leagues, maybe? I don't know. Whatever. WoW still, I don't think, has realized that nostalgia is not what players are wanting here. They're just wanting a better version of the game back.
Yeah, like I said, if you just make a good game, but people will play it.
Basically hitting that reset button and doing things differently. Build off that original engine. Don't change the core of the game. Make creative decisions about other parts of the world, different game modes, different new regions, whatever. New bosses. Blizzard's really frustrating looking in. They just have one of the greatest games to ever grace the video game world in the history of video games. And it's like, you see how much old school RuneScape did. And just how much potential was there. I don't know, man.
I'm actually baffled by that. As someone who's... I played World of Warcraft one time. I think I lied earlier and said I didn't ever play WoW. I played once when they re-released Classic. I played for like a week, and I went and I killed some boars, and I walked around and killed some bandits, and then did like the first raid or something like that. There were like windmills, and everything was kind of orangish colored. Fuck, this is so the worst. You all know what I'm talking about. It was called like West something, maybe, the area. Anyways, I just had a good time walking around the game, exploring stuff, flying on like mount services from one city to the next. I've actually never felt immersed in a game like I did when I played WoW that one time. And it didn't really stick with me. I didn't play super long, but I'm constantly baffled by the fact that they haven't done even the basic innovations and just stolen the game modes that like RuneScape has done. I'm also baffled that OSRS hasn't released like ultimate super hardcore mode where, I don't know, maybe it's a hardcore, but every unique drop is like 10 times as rare and you get 1 experience instead of 4 for every action or whatever. Like, people would play the shit out of that. People are so masochistic, they want to struggle. I don't know. I feel like it's low-hanging fruit, and I'm baffled that WoW hasn't done that or has just started doing that.
It's weird. Granted, weird. Old school RuneScape's a sandbox, and WoW is, I think they call it like a theme park. I've been going on a tangent, but yeah.
Jagex did the exact same thing. They just didn't do it during a live streamed event. Not only was there a petition that content creators rallied communities to go and sign, there was also a private server that had about 390,000 registered accounts.
So this was actually after my time, but also before my time, because I quit when they ruined the game, and then, but I wasn't here for any of this. I heard about it though.
Jagex shut down, and if none of those things happened,
that's actually kind of crazy that the exact same thing happened for WoW. I didn't know the history of this. This is really interesting. Because, yes, this exact thing happened for WoW. What the fuck? It's like an alternate reality.
No, it's the same reality. We did it 6 years before WoW did. And WoW players were like, well, if they can do it, why can't we?
I wonder if there will be another game that does this in a couple of years. There's gonna be another game that does this.
Look how much success they're having. And then they did it. It's just that Blizzard didn't do the right things. There's still a chance. It's not too late.
It's not too late.
I've gotten the poll from Jagex themselves, just to be sure that we really wanted it. Jagex knew that nostalgia is a short-term feeling. You don't just constantly feel nostalgia. It's this thing that hits you. It might stay with you for like a little bit. Players wanting to feel nostalgia was not enough to justify putting a bunch of resources into
what this shot. What the fuck? How does he have a shot of RuneScape? What the hell is this shot? This is crazy. What am I looking at? Oh my god. Is that how big fucking Mire Ditch is? And Mauritania compared to the desert and the duel arena? Wait, is this composited or? This is the craziest shot I've ever seen in my life. Regardless of the fact that there's 2 Jimmys, an Asmongold, and a 9-Rain, this is actually insane. I must message Jimmy and find out. Is that the dock at the very south end of Mauritania, way in the top right of the corner? There's a little dock there. Can you fish sharks over there? Am I thinking of a different spot? Wait a minute, dude. Is that Ardoin? And at the very bottom, next to Jimmy's little knee down there, in between the 2 Jimmys, is that like where you go to, like from West Ardoin to Underground Pass and then Privdinas? This is a crazy shot. I must use stuff like this in my videos.
Was that this was not an outcry or a demand to feel nostalgia. Nostalgia really wasn't what people were thinking about when all of this was going down. This was all an expression of...
It had to have been what...
Yeah, I agree with Asmon here. It was totally a big part of it.
Everybody was thinking back about. Because fundamentally, they're all saying, we want the old thing back.
The thing is you have to continue that sentence. And that's why there was so much backlash on this argument. We want the old thing back because it was better.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's the big argument here, is the game that we were asking for was simply a better game because Evolution of Combat came out. By the way, I don't know if Asmon's ever going to watch it, but if you do, I really do suggest watching the video I made on this entire history. I mean, it seems like...
And while we're here, if you haven't watched my series Iron Man, you might as well watch the whole fucking thing. A link will be in the description, I guess. So anyways.
Like you were interested in the history of it, and it really is fast.
In fact, actually, don't watch the whole thing. Just go watch the Grardor series, and then go watch the whole thing, because then you'll be like, you get like a little taste of it.
Fascinating of how we did get here, but I have a video called RuneScape, the MMO split in half, And it's a very crazy ride that...
I'm going to throw up the Growdor video right here on top of Jimmy's video. So here it is. Links in the description.
We took to get here. In 2012, when all this was going down, Jagex had created this new combat system that we all love to talk about still. It changed the game forever. Imagine taking World of Warcraft and turning it into turn-based combat suddenly. Out of nowhere. Like, you're still using abilities, but it's not this like free roam thing anymore. The combat that you've grown to know and love and enjoy is suddenly taken away from you, and now it's turn-based with this new innovative system that Blizzard claims that they've created here. It's gonna, you know, really keep up with the rest of the MMOs. It's a hypothetical. Blizzard was kind of already ahead of all of them. But imagine that. That's what happened with RuneScape. They changed the entire combat system, which is what most people loved to do in the game. Whether it was PvP or PvM, everyone loved the combat. It was a staple of RuneScape, and they...
Yeah, I don't know the kinds of changes or to what degree that they've changed World of Warcraft since its inception, but I do know that it is not nearly as much as the difference between old school RuneScape and RS3. They fucked it. They totally rammed it up the ass. It's destroyed. It's Happy Pride Month, everybody.
They took it away. And they gave us an ability bar. And everyone was like, what the fuck is this? I'm not going to use an ability bar. And they gave us one, and that was our only option. And no matter how much we protested, they didn't listen. People quit by the masses. Like, it was crazy. Everybody gone. The game was literally dying. A lot of people say, oh, dead game, dead game. This was a dying game. Like, it was bad. It was really, really bad. I hope Asmon does get around to, if not one of my videos, one of the many videos that explain the history of old school RuneScape and why things split the way they did. It comes down to us wanting the better version of the game. The system that made RuneScape. Another good point someone brought up, a lot of people weren't asking for the 2007 backup. People didn't really care. A lot of people just wanted the 2011 backup.
Yeah, that's a good point. The 2007 backup was incidental because they had like an old server saved for God knows what reason on like a little disk drive, a floppy disk in a dusty corner of a broom closet.
That's all they cared about. They just didn't want fucking evolution of combat. A lot of people will say that they like the 2010, 2011 version of the game more than the 2007 version. A lot of people were asking for that. There was actually people upset that we were going as far back as 2007. They're like, no, that's not what we want. There's too many things happened in the 3 years after that. Like, come on. But this was the backup that they found. The screenshot I showed in the video like a few seconds earlier, Mod MMG saying that they've been looking through old IT guys' desks for flash drives of backups of the game.
Told you.
This was a backup that they found, and that's what old school became, is they found this little backup of the game.
It was a floppy disk.
That's what it is.
Because of that,
resentment towards the decisions that Jagex was making, turning the game into something that players didn't recognize anymore.
God, it looks so fucking bad. Oh, well, not this. I love Civ. This looks so shit. I hate
Jagex
RS3.
was making, turning the game into...
I hate everything about this. This looks so bad. The animations, it's fucking terrible. It's soulless. Ugh. I hate it. It's so hard to read, too. The readability is just totally gone from the game.
Something that players didn't recognize anymore. Have you ever been playing a sandbox game? You're about 20 hours into it. Things started becoming more complicated.
How is this not nostalgia?
You're micromanaging things. You're kind of just really missing that early game. It's just a very congested feeling you're getting.
What is the definition of nostalgia?
Oh,
this was silly.
You're welcome, guys. I've already done this for us, but here you go.
Sentimental longing or wishful affection for the past. So let me get this straight.
Yeah, the sentimental,
wishing for
the sentimental part is what he missed here. There was not a lot of sentimental feelings for what we were asking for yet. But no matter what you tell me, you cannot say you have nostalgia for something that was a year ago.
No, but they had this. Didn't it re-release in like 2014? Am I crazy? That was 7 years, Jimmy. Come on. Not 1 year.
It's not it. Even 5 years ago, like for RuneScape, it was not sentimental.
You can be sentimental about something 5 years ago. Absolutely. That's 8th grade through high school, in college, wistfully remembering what it was like to be a kid. 5 years is plenty of time.
It was just wanting the better game. There was a lot of things I regretted not.
It was not just wanting the better game. It was both nostalgia and wanting the better game. But then the nostalgia helped wanting the better game, and then once they released the better game and they kept it better, everybody just played that one. So,
not saying during the video, we'll get to it later, but that is one of them, is just saying we wanted the better game.
An old school version of the game is not nostalgia. Am I taking crazy pills?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm crazy.
You are.
What?
No.
Out of your mind.
No, I feel like I'm crazy, and I'm sure people watching this video feel like they're crazy, because I don't mean to startle you, but there's a Jimmy right behind me. There's another one. I feel crazy.
There might be some long-term decisions that you made that you're really not enjoying anymore. Okay. Suddenly you find yourself pushing all.
Also, side note, I had to shorten this like little metaphor. I was trying to find a way to explain this in a way that people who don't play the game would understand, like the feelings of missing, you know, what it was like before all this congestion was happening. And I ended up going on way too long, and I had to like cut this up a lot and try and make it make more sense. I just couldn't think of a way to kind of represent this more to someone who's never played any version of RuneScape. So I don't know if it landed. It probably did a little bit, maybe not.
Progress away and
it is what it
fresh
is
with a new game. That way you can create a different path and make different decisions that you know will affect you later down the line. I think that's more of the feeling that RuneScape players were having. Jagex was screwing up our playthrough. Things felt wrong, and we wanted to go to the main menu and start a new game. Redo a couple thousand decisions. The old school launched February 22nd, 2013. Players logged into a server that was a backup of the game from August 10th, 2007.
It was 2013, not 2014.
It was as if players had traveled backwards in time 5.5 years.
As I said, I think 5 years is enough to feel nostalgic.
So for the first couple weeks...
I also wanted to point out in there, I didn't leave it in, but aesthetically, we were also traveling back 4.5 years, since that's when the HD update happened. Aesthetically, it was only 4.5 years ago that they would have been traveling.
The average player count was about 40,000, peaking on day one with 65,000 concurrent players. But about 3 months after launch, old school RuneScape was averaging about 17,000 concurrent players.
Well, I didn't realize it was that low, and that it took a while to pick up some steam.
And by August, about 12,000. The main game was consistently holding more players than old school. And the reason that it was declining was very simple. There's no updates.
Also, I just want to throw this out there, that he has said over and over again that I am a graph guy. He loves graphs. The graphs do not lie. And I showed the graphs as clear as I could here, and it still didn't get to him. What do I have to do here? Clear, hard evidence of graphs. And he's so stubborn about this. He somehow forgot he was the graph guy. The graphs don't work here. What?
You guys ain't got shit on what I do. Graph guy. Graphs are weak shit. We don't do graphs here. We do complicated diagrams that lead you through a journey of my self-doubt as we forge our destiny through this game. Graphs are for pussies who are too scared to step away from the well-trodden path. I don't need a graph to make my point. I don't need data. I just need little paint drawings of a snake.
What is it, Asmon? Is it my women's Hawaiian shirt? Is that what's got you fucking stubborn about this?
Is that a women's shirt?
What do you want from me?
There were some quality of life improvements here and there, but I mean, the first original content that old school got was Nightmare Zone, and that's just about the most boring thing you can do. It's content built for you to look away for 10 minutes. They also got Rooftop Agility, which, I mean, it's cool, but I mean, it's still agility. Those updates we were getting were simply not enough to keep players excited. And
Rooftop Agility was new? What? What the hell did people do before Rooftop Agility? I
don't know if you could tell, but nostalgia was definitely not keeping players there. But here's the plot twist. I believe that the...
No, that's a good way to go with that's a good graph, Jimmy. No, to be honest, that's a good fucking point. I don't know what Asmon's gonna do to recover from this.
Lack of nostalgia was exactly what the game needed. The game was just kind of sitting here with nothing happening to it. The difference between this 2007 world and the original 2007 world, players with their developing adult minds saw this whole big sandboxy world from a whole different perspective, which sparked new ideas that had never been tried before. What if you were
now he's explaining Season of Discovery. This is what happened with Season of Discovery and WoW.
They fumbled on Season of Discovery. I wish I could go in and almost like edit my WoW video, because at the end of it, I was like, oh, I'm really looking forward to Season of Discovery, because they had just come out with it when I made the WoW video. It has aged like fucking milk. It is really bad, and they did not take the direction I thought they were going to. I completely misunderstood what their aim was with Season of Discovery, so they fumbled the shit out of that. They did not do the smart thing with Season of Discovery.
Okay, Season of Discovery is essentially vanilla WoW with new abilities unlocked through runes and some new NPCs or hidden quests associated with these runes. So it's like a league?
Really unfortunate.
It's just that the decisions that Blizzard added in were bad.
Yeah, very bad.
Basically, Season of Discovery is like if instead of having a polling system like RuneScape has, you just have people that don't understand why the game was popular. And like, I like the Season of Discovery team, but they have... I don't think that some of them understand why Classic is popular. I don't think they get it.
Last person on Earth, and you logged into an old school RuneScape
made it into retail?
If it's just you and this video game, how hard would that be? Well, I mean, I don't know. Let's try it.
I loved making this scene, by the way.
This is working, but
this was really fun to make.
When we did this, we only had one life. You're not allowed to die, or it's a permadeath. You know, it's done. That's adrenaline pumping. Let's do it. Let's try it. But let's
This
go
is always so crazy for me to listen to this, because it's just like every single one of these parallels is the exact same to WoW.
No, WoW's copying. It's not a mirror. Very different. They're...
Wait, but aren't mirrors... No, but technically mirrors happen at the exact same time. Is that true? Practically.
Copying. Which is fine, because it was a good idea. Feel free to take more.
Deeper, you know,
try it out.
No, I agree with that. Feel free to take more, because I actually want to play WoW, but I heard such bad things about Season of Discovery, and then apparently there's like Classic and then like not Classic, and then there's retail, and there's... So I'm about as confused about WoW as people are about RuneScape probably, and that's a pretty funny image of Jimmy right above me.
Hear me out. Let's get a little crazy here. What if you couldn't use a bank? Limited to 28 inventory slots. Could you do that? I mean, I store hundreds of things in the bank. Surely that's not possible. Or is it? Let's try it.
Where's the fourth guy that goes over his other shoulder, Jagex? Where's the ultimate hardcore, where everything is 10 times harder and the drop rates are like super bad? Where is it?
I just got a crazy idea. Let me. We've only got these 28 inventory slots, no banks. That's it. We also lock ourselves to a certain region of the game. Let's try that.
I'm a little pissed because I don't see One Kick Rick here. All right, Jimmy.
Crazy, I know, but like, I think of all the things we have to discover, all the methods that no one's really ever thought of or tried, because you'd have to be stupid to try them, but that's all we have. Did you know the map is made of chunks? What if we locked ourselves at chunks? We have to unlock one chunk at a time. Clue scrolls are how we progress. Chronologically time locked. Cave locked.
Jesus.
No light, please. Like me in real life. Tile locked. One square. The squares in the game, one at a time. Skill locked. Only some skills. One inventory slot. It's all I know.
Oh my God.
No guides. Don't look at me. Prop hunt on an item now. One hit point permadeath. Lock me out.
Jesus.
Leagues. We take all those ideas, make them fast now. Go. And we're still not trading anyone.
Where's my character, Jimmy? I see McTile. Who is this fucking guy? Who's this guy? Am I dumb? Should I know who this is? Is this like the Fremenic Desert? Where's my guy, Jimmy?
Unless it's with your friends, group of 5.
Ooh, I remember this.
We need a game show, 4 seasons of it.
Yeah.
Quest guide, 1 sec.
Great, the whole world is PvP, but if you're the last one standing after a couple weeks, you get real life money. Make a series, 86 episodes in a Rice Mountain.
Jesus.
No shoes, we're feet locked up.
So in the background, by the way, I have this where you could see it says like settled and Slayer music, Shadow Cat. This is a big list that exists on the OSRS wiki. I didn't even see it till Settled sent it over, but it's very incomplete. There's a lot of series that it actually misses, but I took screenshots of them and put it into like a 10,000 pixel long thing to I like glued them together and scrolled it all the way down. I hope they continue adding to that, because there's a lot of series they don't have on there that I was surprised they didn't, but I didn't even know that the page existed, so that's really cool that they are building cool on that. It was really cool.
No magic, only Slayer, that's it. Where are we? Where am I? What year is
What is this?
Over 10 years later.
It's old school RuneScape, motherfucker.
Okay, surely I'm here. I don't see me. I see fucking Hanani. I see framed. Where's my character, Jimmy? Why is there a character in ham robes that looks almost like One Kick Rick, but is not?
We do it good over here. Blizzard got to take some more notes, because the ones they took suck.
We've all collectively made one of the greatest communities in all of gaming, currently averaging 110,000 concurrent players every day. And you know,
dude, sorry, I'm pausing a lot. It's my video. I do what I want. I saw a lot of players or commenters that were trying to like defend.
Now it's my video, Jimmy. I do what I want.
Wow, like some of them came to my video and were commenting this. They're like, 110,000. That's nothing. WoW has 7 million. It's like, no, that's subscribers. I'm talking about people online at the same time. That's what concurrent players mean. 110,000. It's actually gone up. It's at 120,000 average per day right now. Subscriptions and concurrent players, very different. There's no way to tell how many concurrent players WoW has online. They barely show their subscription stuff. I think only recently they showed a graph. There's no.
Does that really not exist online? World of Warcraft population chart daily. We're looking at about, we'll say 150,000. So this has got to be concurrent players, right? Yearly population chart, 2023, 2024. Holy shit, what happened here? What are these? 2024 has not been good to World of Warcraft. Okay, so we're looking at 150,000 to about 200,000 if we're being generous. Compared to RuneScape's 110,000 is not bad. That's not bad.
No way to tell they're concurrent players every day, which is unfortunate. I wish I had that data, because I would love to see how it compares. Because
it was really easy. I just Googled it, Jimmy.
WoW's rough right now, dude. There are so many people that are playing old school that are normally playing WoW. Mm-hmm. I don't understand what you're supposed to be doing on WoW right now. Like the way it's built. I don't know. I don't know how. It seems like even in the end game, you're only playing like a few times a week. So, whereas like old school, you're always on doing something. So it's a very different game. I don't know how the concurrent players matches up here.
You know what? I'm a fair guy. I'll lower our player count by 20%. Mm-hmm. That way, we've only got 70,000 more.
I think the bots might be worse than Jimmy is thinking. I didn't think about that. 20%'s a lot though, so yeah.
That's a lot of people.
To you RuneScape 3 people out there, they're saying, more like 50%. I know you love that line. I know you love to exaggerate the amount of bots in the game, because you just don't accept, for some reason, that we have so many more players. But we do. It's so weird to try and deny that. We have bots. 20%? Is so fucking many. 20% is a huge deduction. It's probably over the amount, to be honest with you.
Maybe.
So I don't understand the mindset of like wanting to deny our player base, because 20% is fucking huge. It's a lot. I know we have a botting problem. That's why I acknowledge that. I just love when RuneScape 3 players use that fucking botting argument. They love that one. They're never gonna let go of it.
But if you do control for alt accounts, it's probably like another 20% is people playing multiple accounts at the same time.
Deserve credit where it's due, because after they realized that
it's from one of the first dev blogs,
interest, original content was constantly being pitched, pulled, and then developed as the players helped shape the direction of the game, while most of the updates stay true to
I don't think that any of this, by the way, counters what my argument was.
Yes, it does.
Basically, all of the updates and all of the content that's added into old school RuneScape is built into the game in the context of the game being a fondly remembered game from people's childhoods.
No.
So, yeah, you're right. The new content isn't necessarily nostalgia, but nostalgia is a driving factor that gets people to stick into the game.
I actually think it's the opposite. I think nostalgia got people to start playing the game again. New content keeps them there and is not nostalgic at all.
I wish I touched on this as well. It was kind of implied. A nostalgia feeling might get somebody to check the game out. Nostalgia has absolutely lured in a lot of players to try the game, but nostalgia disappears after you play the game for a little bit. It's a marketing strategy, which Mod Kieran actually touched on. It's great for marketing. Nostalgia is fantastic for marketing, but it does nothing for the dev team or the game once they're there. Once the player gets there, nostalgia, not a factor. It's simply not. It can't be a factor.
What the fuck?
What I showed earlier.
What the fuck just happened to Jimmy? Jimmy just disappeared on me.
Nostalgia doesn't do shit for the game. It will kill the game if nostalgia is what you're relying on. People don't feel nostalgia when they see a game update come out. Unless you're a brand new player to the game and you saw an advertisement on Facebook or something, nostalgia played a role for a second. And once you're there, that role is no longer needed. There are so many people to back me up on this. There were so many comments saying that I didn't even play back in the day. I tried it out because I have a friend that plays, or I saw like a really cool cinematic that Jagex made and I went and tried the game. I started playing in 2019, 2017, whatever. So many players were commenting about that. Nostalgia does not carry any sort of support once players get there. So content is definitely not being developed with nostalgia in mind. That wouldn't make any sense. It is absolutely not being considered. Like, nostalgia factors are not being considered when polling and developing new content.
It's not.
Really silly.
I think that's what's going to happen. And again, I think that's the same thing with Classic WoW. Like, if Classic WoW came out today, for example, and nobody had any nostalgia for the game, I don't think it would be anywhere near as popular as it was in 2004.
That's
and
true.
I think
if nothing else came out like that, it would have. Like, the vanilla version of WoW never came out. We never got any sort of timeline of WoW. Who knows where MMOs would even be? That's a crazy hypothetical. That's another thing, is arguing hypotheticals is really silly. WoW did a lot for the gaming industry. I don't know, maybe it would. Maybe it would do really well if nothing else had been created like WoW, because WoW was doing a lot of stuff that was very original. Interesting thing to think about, but it ultimately doesn't matter. It doesn't get us anywhere talking about it.
That it wouldn't have been anywhere near as popular as it was in 2019. I think the truth is that nostalgia is such a huge factor, and it's something that permeates the DNA of the game.
Again, I think that's true, but I also don't think that's a bad thing, though. I'm not even sure Asmongold means this as a criticism. I don't think he does.
I think if you look at, for example, a lot of the content creators for the game, a lot of them are mainly older guys.
You didn't... He didn't have to say that. He didn't have to go there. I mean, how old is Asmongold? Wait, is that... Look, I'm not even going to comment on that.
And what a surprise, because there's probably a lot of older people that play the game. So what's the average age of people that play RuneScape?
I can show you. Okay, here's the audience data. You want to know how old our player base is? 90% of us are 25 to 35 years old. 90%. That's everybody. We are all American males in our late 20s and early 30s. All of us. And 40% of you are not subscribed, so I don't really have anything to say about that.
What are the average ages of people that are interested in the game, and how long have they played the game? I think that many of them have played it for a massive long amount of time.
That's true. That's very true.
They probably played it, 30 plus, right?
So this also goes into the argument that I brought up in the MMO discussion. That's the target demographic for MMOs right now, because the generations before, when I was talking about, them not really giving a shit about long-term MMO goals, it's the same thing here. Why would ages, below 17, 16 be looking to play old school RuneScape?
I think kids these days just don't have the grit and the constitution for MMOs. They've had dopamine injected into them directly from social media at a very young age, and they just can't enjoy good things anymore. I see where Jimmy is going with this. And I agree with you, Jimmy.
They're such a fucking minority, and they're like, my friends don't...
Whoa, Jimmy. Fucking minority? Tone it down a bit, Jimmy.
play. I saw people comment that. They're like, I'm in the minority. Like, my friends don't want to fucking play RuneScape with me. It's the target demographic of the game. You could be 20, 30, 40, it doesn't matter, and have never played WoW or old school RuneScape and find it for the first time. And it might be similar to other games you played. And it's the style of game that you enjoy. It respects your time. It's something you see yourself playing long term because that's the way it's built. You really don't need any nostalgia there.
Did he just say RuneScape respects your time? I have to.
And it's the style of game that you enjoy. It respects your time. It might be similar to other games you played. And it's the style of game that you enjoy. It respects your time. It's something you see yourself playing long term because that's.
I don't know about that. Anyways.
The way it's built, you really don't need any nostalgia there. It's just a lot of players that never played, and their age doesn't correlate to whether they played or not. Yeah, there's a lot of players that played back then, but there's also a fucking lot of players that didn't. So it just doesn't work. It's not a sound argument.
How is it that you have an audience of people that are 30 plus that have played a game for 10 years and you don't think that nostalgia has any impact on that? You don't think that that's not a foundational reason why it's happening? Of course not. It's like WoW. It is like WoW. And I said that in my video. I said, and this is what my point was, right?
No, I actually think it is a foundational reason why it became successful. Again, it's like both. It's like, of course, nostalgia was a huge part, but that doesn't make it a bad game. Okay? Are we following?
Right? Was that every single MMO is trying to go backwards to 2004 and be World of Warcraft, and no other MMO is trying to be what an MMO needs to be in the year 2024 or 2025.
I don't know of any games that are trying to be like old school RuneScape. Like, I really do think that the reason that we are seeing this success is because players are discovering it exists. There's so many different types of players, and you can come in with any type of mindset and enjoy RuneScape in one way or another. I don't know, whatever.
My point that I was making, it's not whether RuneScape is a better game than WoW or not, but both of these games are fundamentally reductive. This type of combat and gameplay and graphics are tremendously reductive, and they put off a lot of people.
No, they don't.
And I think that a lot of the people that enjoy games like this enjoy these games
not enough
because of the fact that they're older and they have nostalgia, maybe not even for RuneScape, but for this kind of a game.
Okay, that's a decent point. Yeah. No, yeah, I think that's probably true. Yeah.
I'm amazed that that's, and by the way, it's not that RuneScape would fail. It's not like, oh, if it wasn't for nostalgia, it would fail. And it does get new players. It does. But to say that nostalgia is not a massive driving factor for why the game is popular.
That's contradictive as fuck.
It's not contradictory. And it's certainly not contradictive. Am I crazy? Can we hold both of these things as true? That it was that the nostalgia played a huge part, but also only the fact that it's a good game can describe why it's still around and that the player base is still here and so big.
It gets a lot of new players. You just said it gets a lot of new players. So why would nostalgia be a driving factor if they're new players?
Well, but he did say like people could be nostalgic for that type of game, not necessarily RuneScape. So you could be nostalgic for like old school looking games or point and click adventures or like any kind of top down thing like this, of which RuneScape is reminiscent.
If they've never seen RuneScape before, there's so many players that have never seen the game before.
Has anyone actually never seen RuneScape? Like you're accidentally here and you don't know what the hell's going on, and this is your first exposure to RuneScape. Can the 13-year-old in the comments, wait, are you even allowed to be watching this video if you're 13? I don't know what YouTube's rules are on that. If you are, keep your head down. No, get out of here.
Completely naive.
No, it's not.
And I think it's the same thing with Classic WoW. Like if Classic WoW released like now and there wasn't nostalgia, I don't think it would have been there either. I think RuneScape is probably...
It's all hypothetical.
I think it is probably one of the best MMOs of all time. It's not even a question.
Amen.
Like it's undeniable that it is. Like, what RuneScape accomplished is something that I would say in a lot of cases no other MMO has accomplished.
True.
So I don't want to take anything away from RuneScape, but to act like releasing something like this today would, with no context at all of like the way that these games used to be or anything, I don't think that's true in any capacity.
I think it is. There have been it is very true. Like I was just saying, the types of players we have, you could come in with so many different mindsets and find a place for yourself in it.
Yeah, no, I think I'm with Asmon on this one, actually. I will say Asmon's kind of conflating two different things. One of them's nostalgia, and one of them's like a general understanding of gaming and video games and these like cartoonish graphics and point and click adventures and interacting with the computer and like familiarity with the whole thing. That's not really nostalgia, but I think he's right. So wait, what does Jimmy's, okay, but the under this is reacting to Asmongold's react to my video again, but
and it's such a unique experience you really cannot get anywhere else.
Need nostalgia.
That's why
that's wrong, Jimmy. Does it need? RuneScape did need, but maybe he's right, because maybe it doesn't need it anymore, but it did need it a lot, and it does help.
We're getting new players because people are finding out about it and trying it and realizing it, like, oh shit, this works for me. This works around my life and everything in my life. That's a huge factor here. So many people are casually playing old school. Casually takes on a whole new definition, really, with old school players. Like, you can truly be casual. Like with WoW, casual WoW players, there's a reason why it's harder to get a casual WoW player long term. Because
that's a good point, because the amount of people that I know that have RuneScape on their phone or have it on a second monitor while they're working at a computer, and it's so AFK a lot of the time that you're kind of just orienting your goals and planning and then forgetting about it for a little while. That's a lot of players. That might be most players. In fact, that's probably everybody watching this video right now has RuneScape up on a second monitor, and like they're watching the video and kind of casually playing RuneScape. So let's look. How many views is this one at? 34,641. 34,000 of those are casual RuneScape players who are playing right now.
Because you can't just log on for a little bit here and there and dilly-dally. It's not going to be fun. You got to like figure, once you get to the end game, you got to like find a guild, get time set, find a fucking time that works for you weekly. There's so much that goes into it that doesn't allow for casual players. There's a few videos on it out there, but
a lot of games that have been released that kind of fit into that nostalgia like category. They're like, oh, this is like the old games, but they're just bad, and people don't really like them. They don't really stick around and play them at all because they're not very good. What really drives these games is nostalgia.
No.
Nothing else survived like OSRS, but it isn't like RuneScape. Yeah, it is. Nostalgia only plays a factor on launch, and it diminishes very fast. I completely disagree.
You can't. You're not allowed. The graphs don't lie. It's a graph
every
thing.
time that you hear a song that the game plays where it's like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm going to listen to this song, and it's like, this reminds me of when I was in high school or something like that.
Yeah, no, they actually released a metal album of a lot of the RuneScape tracks like a week ago, and I was listening to that in the gym today, and it made me want to play RuneScape more than anything has made me want to play RuneScape in a long time. And it's just the music, and that was actually, I think, nostalgia in a way, and good music. So can we talk, isn't there a video about Minecraft's nostalgia? Look, I'm gonna make this very simple. Oh my god, guys, look, they're actually just, wait a minute, there's a video here called It's Not Nostalgia, Old Minecraft Was Great. Okay, so not only are the World of Warcraft OSRS things repeating themselves, but now the videos are repeating them. So this is exactly the thing. This is the Jimmy video. Did anyone react to this? I bet someone reacted to this. Oh, this is the video that I was looking for. Jay Schlatt's A Tribute to Minecraft 6 years ago. One of the main points in this video is he talks about how the music always brought him back to those like simpler experiences and those memories that he had as a kid. I think RuneScape is the same way. The music, if you don't believe me, go put on a RuneScape right now. Just go play Autumn Voyage Boom, you're there. And one of the main reasons I don't ever feel nostalgia playing RuneScape anymore, I think is because I don't play with the music on. Because I have to record, and because I'm always doing other things or listening to other things. So you're not like in the game, you're not actually the character walking around, and the music's not part of the experience. I think if people listen to the RuneScape soundtrack while playing RuneScape, they would be hit with that feeling of nostalgia way more. Watch the J video, and you'll know exactly what I mean.
And it's not that like, so this is an example. It's not that nostalgia is the reason. It's that like if you have a pie chart, I think nostalgia is a very big slice of that pie chart.
No.
Agreed. No,
and I think that without the
I'm with Asmon on this one. I mean, it is what it is. I don't think that takes away from the success of RuneScape as a game. It's not like as that nostalgia part gets bigger, the other part is diminished. It is, if you represent it as a pie chart, actually, that's how pie charts work. But let's say it's 20% nostalgia and 80% it's a good game. And let's just say that 80% is comprised of 10,000 happy units because it's a good game, so it makes you happy. If this nostalgia thing gets bigger, it gets bigger as a percentage because the nostalgia units are higher, but the happy units aren't less. There's not less happy units. So it's not a worse game, but nostalgia does play a big part. But I don't think that diminishes the number of happy units for RuneScape being a good game. Okay, I did it. I made since we love graphs, we also love pie charts. This is the nostalgia chunk. It's 47 nostalgia units. This is the good game chunk. This is 10 killa happy units, which is 10,000 happy units, which is the unit of measurement that tells you whether or not it's a good game. You could have another chart where like this is and it's 30%, and there's still 10K down here. Like the percentage changes, which is what Asmon is saying. This is a big percentage. And Jimmy keeps saying, but no, here's all the killa happy units. See, we love the game. It's a good game. And Asmon's like, yeah, but nostalgia is a big percentage. And they're kind of talking past each other. I don't think that they're even maybe disagreeing. Look at these graphs. These are great. Although I'm kind of in the way of this one. So there you go.
Would probably not be as popular as it is, and it probably wouldn't have taken off in the same way. And I think this becomes proven evidently whenever new games come out and they try to capitalize on a nostalgia vibe, but they don't really have the nostalgia going for them. Nostalgia isn't the reason, but it's a reason. Yeah, sure. They're super inaccessible because they're built for people that are already familiar with it. Yeah, I think that's another factor.
No, they're not. It's not built for people who are already familiar with it. There's a reason that old school RuneScape was a lot of our first MMOs as kids, because you really don't need to know anything. I've talked about it a lot when I go into details about like Tutorial Island and how it's like the most perfect tutorial because it just kind of shows you step by step. It's not an overwhelming experience, at least in old school. RuneScape 3, different story. That's like opposite of what old school does. Like it is so simple, and I think the pacing of it is perfect.
It's like a lot of the things that excite the RuneScape community too. Like most of the updates that they're doing, and I'm speaking from ignorance here, so I don't really know this, so correct me if I'm wrong. But a lot of the updates that they do are for veteran players.
Nope.
No, that's definitely true. I mean, most of the big updates that actually have content, it's like all, I mean, maybe they added Spiria, that Slayer mastered 4 years ago, but it's like all the new quests are big quests, new best in slot.
They're for people that have played the game for a really, really long time. Like I know that's
and even the one wait, and even the ones like the what's recently being proposed about agility, where they're like kind of reworking it. They say like, hey, it's for the new players so they don't feel so slow all the time, so you can run a little more in the early game. But then like everybody involved and all the people talking about it and all of the balancing that the team is having to do right now is all to protect the high-level player experience. So even that one, which seems like it was for the average player, is also not just for the like new player. It's for late game.
It's not true. It's not true. Well, I guess it's everyone that I hear about.
Who? Okay. Who do you hear about? Who? Who's telling you lies? Someone's lying to you.
Like whenever I see updates and like new content being added, I always hear about it whenever it's like a new boss or something like that, but I'm not really sure. But either
bosses
way,
don't have to be endgame.
I think nostalgia.
I mean, they added what's the new Varlamore bosses? They're like Perilous Moons or something. Even that's kind of mid game. That's like mid game. So,
plays a massive factor with games like this. And in my opinion, I think it is the biggest factor.
What? How is it? How is it the biggest factor? How?
I'm with Jimmy on this one. I don't think it's the biggest factor, but I think it's a big factor. Just refer to the pie chart, you know?
What? Come on. Come on, man.
Jimmy, if you react to this video, don't, by the way. This is over. We're done. This is it. If you watch any of this, someone just send him the pie chart, okay? Like, that's all that, the whole thing's over. Show Asmon and Jimmy the pie chart. That was the conversation. That's it.
And
I do.
No, you don't.
It is.
You don't believe that.
And I think it is insurmountable.
I do not believe that you believe
that people have, because no other game can go back and be the game that you grew up with in high school or middle school. And I think the same thing is true with WoW. I think the same thing is true with RuneScape. I think it's true with a lot of games. You can't beat that.
You can't beat it?
And you can't act like that's not a huge reason.
This nostalgic aesthetic. There is nothing nostalgic about this gameplay. And that's completely...
I tried throwing this in because it was something I wish I had mentioned, but I wanted to throw the mobile app store thing up there just to show that, like, we weren't playing this on phones either back then. Mobile thing really skyrocketed our player count when that came out. It was huge for the game. So I just wanted to toss it in there.
Old school RuneScape.
Oh my God.
Of course it is. This is the original game. The graphics, the style, the numbers...
This was really funny, dude. He pauses he pauses in Chambers of Xeric, which was our first raid ever. This was like the biggest example of old school becoming its own thing, because nothing like this had ever existed. Especially with the old school system and engine. This was just really funny that he paused on this of all things.
No, Jimmy's making a good point here, actually. Also, why the fuck have they been in that raid for 52 minutes? Jesus Christ. And Jimmy has 7,000 points. Oh no. That's, But no, Jimmy's making a good point here. There's nothing nostalgic about Chambers of Xeric whatsoever. It's like, holy shit, a completely different game. It has nothing to do with me walking around Falador saying, buying RuneSimi 30k, or PKing at the Wildy Ditch for a strength amulet with my maple short bow, or fishing lobsters and cooking them and selling them in the center of Varric or something like that. Absolutely nothing nostalgic about the Chambers of Xeric.
Design, it is
a standalone
No
game.
one in this chat's agreeing, by the way.
Nostalgia itself is never going to be the reason that we are seeing growth. Like I was saying, in a way, the lack of nostalgia is what got us here. New creative directions for both players and devs to take. And
oh my God, guys,
is what got us here. New creative directions for both players and devs to take.
I made it in the video. Although technically that's not me. The Jagex team actually just copied my character, and they did all the animations and visuals for this after Jim and I wrote the song. So, but that's me. That's my character. We made it.
And it's funny because 4 years ago...
Oh my God. Jimmy, you're looking good, man. Jimmy aged well. Look at he looks younger here. And he looks younger. New Jimmy looks younger than old Jimmy.
I could have swore we were almost out of ideas. There's no way we keep coming up with things.
It's literally classic. It's nostalgic by definition. What's going on here? I honestly feel like I'm taking crazy pills right now. You have a game that's called old school version of the game, and people are saying it's not being fueled by nostalgia.
That's why I started. It's why I started the video.
I feel crazy. Do you feel crazy? Does this video get anywhere, or is it just the same? I mean, I guess they're not having a conversation, so maybe this is never resolved. Is this what all React videos are like? It's just the same thing over and over, and they just take turns saying it and then saying that they're wrong, or maybe they do we ever get like does Jimmy ever change his mind in the video, or does Asmongold?
with that line. You can't use the argument. It's how it works. If I say it first, you can't use it anymore. I've decided that's how it works. That's how arguments
Nostalgia
work.
is literally that's the name. I don't understand. I'm so confused.
How are you confused?
Forward to now.
I've explained all of it.
All I can think is,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see 4 years from today and see what crazy shit we've done. Because with this player base and all the possibilities that we've discovered and still discover, I've got no idea. Anyway, while I have
It's
you
not
here,
100%. It's like 25%. You're right. It's not 100%. I never said it was. But it is a huge factor, and I think out of all the factors, it is the largest proportional factor.
No, it's not. Also, since we're on this screen right now,
I actually know I'm with Jimmy on this one. I don't think it's the largest proportional factor. And if you want to give this video a like, go ahead and now would be an appropriate time.
I want to test this. Like the video.
Yeah, wait, if I say it and then Jimmy says it, and then I guess we're going to watch Asmongold watch Jimmy say it one more time.
I want to see if did it light up your shit? I don't think it'll light it up if you're on mobile, but like if you're on desktop, did it?
Oh yeah, shit. Okay, does it keep doing it? Maybe it only picks one time in the video to do that. I've started noticing that YouTube does that. We will see at which point me or Jimmy or someone else saying it makes the thing light up.
Like do some weird animation and shit. Yeah. I mean, click it while you're there. I mean,
I also subscribe, unless it already did that, and then whatever.
Obviously, click it, but like such a weird new thing they've added.
If you took that away, a game like this would not catch on in the same way that it did today. If this game released today with no nostalgia, I don't think it would catch on.
He's right.
click the like button. I can wait a second. What else are you doing, you know? I can wait.
You can't know that?
I'm assuming you clicked it. Players.
You're right that I can't know that. And you bring up a good point. I'm guessing. But so is he and so is everybody else in chat.
I'm not guessing.
They're both guessing. No. We're all guessing.
Okay. I'm using graphs.
And I'm using pie charts.
I've played this game since it came out. All right? I've been here 11 years, run around this little fucking game. I'm not guessing anything.
We're all guessing, but that's my guess.
Did both of them just say guessing with an I? Am I taking crazy pills? Wait, we're gonna go back.
On this little fucking game. I'm not guessing anything.
We're all guessing. But
How? How did they both say guessing? Jimmy's the one reacting to Asmongold, and he said it first, which means he wasn't like copying what Asmongold when Asmongold said guessing. This has been such a disorienting experience for me.
But that's my guess.
I feel nostalgia. Don't get me wrong. It's still a part of old school. Me, mostly the audio. When I play the Alcrid track, I can
I already made this point, so yeah, he's making the point that, yeah.
Transform right back into being 9 years old.
I don't know how we didn't get this. I led into this. This isn't like a gotcha moment.
I feel the same way about WoW. I do.
The difference is, it's fucking old school has so much more going for it than just nostalgia that Blizzard left classic WoW with. My point is as a player who played back then, nostalgia exists. There's moments with the audio that give me a feeling of nostalgia, but that is 0.0001%
No, it's not.
of the gameplay. The fucking sounds sometimes giving me a hint of nostalgia has nothing to do with anything going on.
That little... Okay, that was terrible. I'm not gonna... The little like... You know when you... The sound of a man getting hit, that like... That's not what it sounds like at all. But you know what I'm talking about? That takes me back, you know? To like... I'm not gonna do it again.
Or anything to do with the growth. That is unique to me in my experience and would never keep me there or start me playing. His fucking chat is brain dead right now. I want to say that. This is the stupidest chat.
Wait, how long have I been over Jimmy? Wait, he's been up here now?
I've seen in his fucking stream in a while, dude.
And I also know what it is.
Brain.
Okay. Now I gotta move back.
Nostalgia.
It's because he had the reaction.
The purple guard guys. I can sense somebody stealing my rock crab every time Borderland comes on, or the body parts track just dropping me directly into the experiment cave. The sound of a whip, or a dragon longsword special attack, or a goblin taking damage. That's the shit that'll hit me with nostalgic feelings sometimes. I feel it. And it's not just those 2007 memories that trigger nostalgia in people anymore. Old School's been out for 11 years, which is more than enough time to create nostalgic feelings for people. There are players now who will get more nostalgia at Zulrah than they would at the Goblins in
That's
Lumbridge.
the first boss they added, right, into the game?
I don't think it was.
Maybe they remember creating an Iron Man and playing in 2014, 2015, grinding it for hours, learning
first soul boss,
if they went back, they would get hit with it. At the end of the day, it is not a contributing factor to our growing
Look at that shit.
base.
Damn, no, that's a good graph. That is a good graph, Jimmy. Way to get him.
Look at that shit, man. It's evidence right there. It's not nostalgia. Look at it. This shit looks like an alligator's mouth, dude.
I think as adults...
Oh, I see, because it... okay.
A lot of us are coming to this realization that old school RuneScape has the ability to...
I think it is a contributing factor. I think it's a massive factor.
No, it's not.
It is an insurmountable factor that if the game was released today and it had the same gameplay and the same updates, it would not be successful in any capacity.
No, I agree.
Hypothetical.
I don't think that it would have probably 50% of the success, if not even way less. I think also the same thing about WoW. I think that if Classic WoW was released in the year 2024...
I feel like... No, they're just saying the same thing. I talked about this with the mail analogy. If we released mail right now, no one would fucking use it. They'd be like, why would I use mail? It's not as good.
It would probably have less than 10% of the success that it did in 2004 or 2005.
I'm not going to go into that again because it's,
what I think.
It's literally just a hypothetical.
In the context of it being a nostalgic
I think this, if this were to happen, it doesn't...
Same with Diablo 2.
Not doing it.
Respect your time while also having the capability of consuming all of it whenever you let it, which is really nice.
Still going to get some XP while I can, so...
Yeah, I'm just going to be on my phone.
Okay.
There's so many
I love that
levels of
clip.
attention
That's a good
that you can do
Just a
depending
big
on what
fat guy?
activity is going on in the
There's a
game.
chick? I don't even know.
You could be AFK for 20 minutes doing something while still progressing your account, or you could be hands on your F keys and mouse doing some crazy ass boss mechanics, and there's so many more things that are in between those. There's so much to do in this game. I think a lot of MMO players out there are looking for that number go up feeling, and I really don't think there's many.
Don't show me this. I don't want to see this shit. This is a disgusting place. We hate the Red Prison. Don't go here. Do yourself a favor. Don't.
Games that do it better than this one. That famous RuneScape quote, "You never quit, you only take breaks," just holds up year after year. Old School's early game and mid game is always going to have that sense of...
I think he's right. I do. I think he's right about that. And I think the same thing happens with WoW. But I think only quitting and taking breaks.
He's gonna be like, that's nostalgia, because it posits a timeline in which you're looking back and going, oh my god, I'm going back to an older game.
Actually plays into the nostalgia argument pretty well.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does, Jimmy. I think that's a valid point.
Plays into the way that Old School is built, in that when new content comes out, it doesn't wipe away the rest of the content. There's a lot of times I'm playing games. Funny enough, the situation most recently for me was actually Baldur's Gate 3. I started playing it like when it first dropped ever, and I only made it through Act 1. When I picked it back up 6-7 months later, I tried playing the same save, and I was like, I don't remember anything going on. Like, there's too much here that I don't remember. And I have to like read all these things. I'm just going to restart. It's fine. I don't care. With RuneScape, you will not feel the need to start a new account if you don't log in for a year, because nothing has changed. Your progression is still there, and there's not all these things you need to understand about the world and are key to your account's progression. I don't know if that's the best example. What I will say is when I've tried to get into RuneScape 3 and tried doing the quests there, I was like, very overwhelmed with all the systems and just how different the tiers of armor were now. there's so much that's happened in that game that I felt like I couldn't even look things up because there's so many layers to everything. And there's so much new things to understand that were so unfamiliar to me. And I was like, the only way I will get to understand this is if I start from scratch and I start working my way up a little by little, because I'm not going to be able to like jump into this on my main account anymore. Like I'm so far in, I'm like mid level to high level, and there's so much that is different now that there's no way I can understand what's going on. Like there's just no way.
People took a break, they come back, and it's easier for them to come back because it's familiar to them because of the nostalgia.
Familiarity, it truly is always waiting for you. I'm not trying to turn this into some ad for old school RuneScape, but I just think it's important for the MMO world to understand that there's about 1 million things that RuneScape gets right that a lot of other games could take from. So to directly respond to Asmon saying that if this game came out today, it would not be as popular as it is, I humbly disagree.
I feel crazy. I feel crazy.
Graphics and
we'll see. Let's see how Brighter Shores does. Let's find out.
It's not.
My
that's a bad. I don't think that's a good comparison because it could be a worse game.
Perspective is that
it's not going to be similar.
I don't really like arguing with people with like theoreticals. I'm completely confident about my opinion.
They're both doing the same thing where they go, hypotheticals are dumb. I don't do hypotheticals. I'm right. And then they make hypothetical arguments. Oh my God.
I'll take it to
well,
the
you shouldn't be. It's wrong.
Whenever any game that is a clone of RuneScape ever comes out, it will not even have 10% of the success of RuneScape.
That's the same thing for WoW, though. Everyone always talks about the WoW killer, you know? And nothing ever has killed it fully. Other than the things they do themselves. If some game is trying, you won't see it succeed because they didn't do it as well. We already have it. It's not this thing you have to recreate. It's already there. It's there for you to try and play. So games that try and recreate RuneScape systems or structure it like RuneScape, it's not going to work. Just how games that have tried to restructure WoW and do a WoW thing have not found the same success and usually fade out into non-existence. Have not found the same success and usually fade out into non-existence. So, I mean, it's the same deal.
And I think that one of the biggest driving factors of old school RuneScape and classic World of Warcraft is nostalgia.
There it is.
And I'll even go farther. I think the same thing about Halo. I think that if Halo 5 and Halo Infinite had come out and people didn't have nostalgia for Halo 2 and 3, the games would be considered garbage jokes.
That's actually true. No, I really agree on that one. No one would touch Halo if it came out now, just like randomly. No, this is a good point. And I'm not sure exactly why I think that it's such a massive difference as compared to WoW and old school RuneScape. But I actually think Halo is just people trying to relive old Halo days. Like, I'm sure it's okay, but nobody would play it. Do people even play Halo still? I didn't even know there was a Halo 5.
Jokes.
I played Halo 5 when it came out. I played Halo back in the day. Ever since I tried Halo as even a kid, like Halo Reach and stuff, I just didn't really ever enjoy Halo. So when Halo 5 came out and I played it, I felt like the exact same. I was just like, it's not really for me. So I can't really speak on it.
That's the truth.
And all these Unreal Engine 5 projects have taught me anything.
What the fuck is this game? This game looks awesome. Wait a minute. I mean, maybe it sucks, but it looks cool.
It's that now more than ever, graphics don't mean shit. We're getting a greater and greater.
Graphics do absolutely matter, but they have to meet a certain like threshold.
Yeah.
Well, no, they matter a lot, but it doesn't matter whether or not it's trying to be photorealistic and capture the essence of reality so much so that you can't tell the difference. They matter, obviously. Like, you have to like it. It has to be cool and fun to interact with. And it has to sell the world to you. So it matters a ton, but it doesn't mean that they're all shooting for the same thing.
Yeah,
it's not like the better the trees are, the better the game is. But graphics do matter.
Yeah. I honestly, this was like more throwing a jab at Unreal Engine 5 games because I've been debating whether or not to do like a side channel video on this because I'm so fucking tired of these Unreal Engine 5 using the Epic Games assets with everybody. All these fucking human characters look the exact same because they're using the same assets. They put out these half-ass broken early access games for $30 and they get so many people buying them. And it's like, why the fuck are people buying these shitty games? There was like, the games I showed here, it was like Myth of Empires, Soul Mask, and Bright something. I don't...
I'm actually just getting more and more curious the more he talks about it. I'm sorry, Jimmy, but you're selling me on this whole Bellwright thing. I wanna go try and play Bellwright now.
Remember what it is. It was a game that I downloaded and instantly refunded because I got in. It was the same broken ass world, janky movement, same assets I've already seen 3,000 times in other Unreal Engine 5 games, and they were using the same AI voices that I use for Gary videos. As their NPC voices. I was like, no fucking way. They just charged $30 for this, and I got a refund on it. That was basically my jab here. Graphics, obviously, yes, he's right. They need to meet a certain threshold. The stylized aesthetic matters more. I've played some beautiful games recently. I just tried yesterday. I tried Octopath Traveler 2.
That's a good
Travelers
game.
2 by Square Enix. That is also an Unreal Engine 5 game, but it uses Unreal Engine 5 like environment aspects, but works it into like a pixel gameplay with like turn-based combat, and it's a beautiful looking game, and it uses pixel graphics with integrated Unreal Engine 5 assets, which is awesome. It matters to an extent in that it just feels good and looks good and it runs well if it's got a unique style to it. But every time I see these stupid fucking Unreal Engine 5 epic assets, dude, I can't stand it. It's literally, it feels like it's ruining gaming. Like all these developers using the same shit, twisting their little survival craft concept a little bit and selling it for $30. I can't stand it anymore. It's driving me nuts. Anyway, unrelated tangent, whatever.
This is a crazy hot take, but I will stand by it. I think old school RuneScape will probably outlive almost every other MMORPG. And I'm going to say it, including World of Warcraft.
Why? Blizzard's doing their best job to make sure that he's right.
But Jagex is also doing their best job to make sure that he's wrong. I'm not sure which one I think will disappear into the ether first. Maybe neither. Maybe all the players just get old and die. Maybe the games outlive the players. I don't know. We'll see.
True.
You don't believe me? I mean, just ask World of Warcraft players. They're right here.
Yep.
That's all I've got for today. Take it easy.
Yep.
Those are RuneScape players, though, Jimmy. They're all RuneScape players. But that's RuneScape. Those are not WoW players. Those people have Missouri and Virtus rubs. Those are, and look at that. Is that a Fang kit? A little Fang transmog, whatever thing on the far left? Those are not WoW players. Those people have been playing the game for 10 years.
Yep.
That's all I've got for today. Take it easy.
Yep. I like Jimmy a lot.
Me too.
I think that if Brighter Shores comes out and it retains a player base that is larger than 20% of RuneScape OSRS, 30 days after launch, if it does that and I'm wrong, I will play RuneScape on my stream.
So I hope that happens because that sounds funny. But I don't think this argument has anything to do with the Brighter Shores. Totally, like the Brighter Shores argument is a total non sequitur in my opinion.
OSRS on my stream. I will.
I've thought about this. Unfortunately, I really don't think, like, this is the sad part about being the size that Asmon's following is I don't think he could ever play old school RuneScape on like a public server on stream until he's in like endgamey areas. Even if he uses Entity Hider to hide everyone and you know, stop people from saying things, like, people are going to be like attacking his things whenever he does shit.
It will be unplayable for sure.
You know, spamming the tree that he's on, you know, like it's going to be rough. Like if he ever tries it and it's not like an exclusive server or something, because his fucking fan base will absolutely just like sabotage it, which is really sad.
Losers.
I really don't think he could ever really try it on.
It's not even going to be Asmongold. No, it's going to be random RuneScape players. They're the ones. It's not going to be Asmongold's fan base that destroys it. It's going to be RuneScape players.
Dream, which is super unfortunate. But Asmon, this is my invitation to you. If you ever wanted to hop on Old School, be more than happy to do it off stream with you. We could try on stream. It's not going to go well. But if it was ever something you wanted to do, absolutely willing to do that. Going to the Brighter Shores thing, just throw out what you just said. Brighter Shores, like I said, completely different than either of the RuneScapes. It doesn't look like it's going to have the same mechanics. It's going to be built on an entirely different engine, different goals, everything. I don't think it's a fair comparison. Old School RuneScape is probably the third most played MMORPG. We don't know the concurrent player base of WoW. I don't know if Final Fantasy 14 puts theirs out. 120,000 concurrent players is insane, dude. It takes a game like Final Fantasy 14 or WoW to compete, which is simply not going to happen with Brighter Shores. It's ridiculous. I don't even think Final Fantasy 14 or WoW has 20% more active concurrent players. Maybe they do, but we don't know. It's not going to happen with Brighter Shores, so no one needs to clip it, all right? It's not gonna. He's not gonna be playing Old School if that's his terms. He's basically just said he's never playing Old School.
I'm very confident in my opinion. I think that I'm right. I do.
You're not right.
Yeah.
I think that I'm right. What the hell? No. I think that I'm right. This is so stupid. Look, Asmongold is correct in saying that nostalgia plays a big part. Jimmy is correct in saying that RuneScape is a good game and that's what keeps players there. But it's like, I heard Asmon give a little more concessions, but I think he way overplays nostalgia, and then obviously Jimmy like won't even admit that nostalgia is like a big deal, and it totally is.
There it is. Shipped already? And Starforge Lincoln, we actually did a collab with OSRS. There's a great
It's my next sponsor.
OSRS is I think they do quests better than any other MMO that I've played personally.
Yes, they do.
I think that they do a lot of things that are right.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want people to think that I'm trying to downplay OSRS and say that it's a bad game. I don't think that it's a bad game at all.
Yeah, go look at my pie chart. That kind of explains what he's saying. The happiness units, there's a lot of them.
Like, I think Classic WoW is the greatest MMO ever made, personally. Like, the combat in OSRS, I'm not really a big fan of. But for Classic WoW, I do really enjoy it. I think that it's massively commendable. Like,
I actually might think that WoW is probably the best MMO ever made, Classic WoW. But that's also because I'm not, like, MMO is a made-up term that we use to kind of categorize stuff that, like, RuneScape is barely an MMO because MMOs are WoW, and if it's like WoW, it's an MMO, and RuneScape is only kind of like WoW, so it's only kind of an MMO. It's also more like a point-and-click medieval fantasy adventure game that somehow got stuck in a multiplayer world. I don't know.
It's incredible, the success that RuneScape OSRS has had.
True.
And I don't want to take away from that in any capacity. I think the game is great, right? It's an amazing accomplishment, right? And I think that, like, it's interesting to hear, like, kind of like how his situation was, like, or OSRS situation, like his, involvement with it, is so much of it mirrors exactly the World of Warcraft thing, right? All the way down to, like, the petition,
not a mirror,
the viewers, like signing it. Just like everything about it, it was like 1-to-1. It was like really cool. It's like almost like an alternate reality. So I didn't know a lot of that history. That was really, really cool. Arguing with fanboys is useless.
Like I was saying, the whole history I explained in the video. It's still one of my favorite videos I've made to this day. So, if Asmon ever watches that, I think he'll like it.
I can realize that people will not see this because they don't want to. So I want to show it to them. You can't see it. All right, let's see. We're gonna prove it right here. That's the way I see it. They're closer to it. Exactly. Yeah. And so that Brighter Shores is different, right? It is always something that's different. I don't think the reality is that.
I actually don't think that Asmongold really is trying to make a good argument here. I think he's actually just trying to be funny. I actually don't believe that he thinks that is a fair comparison. I think he's doing it to, like, throw a little heat in the fire and just be like, ooh, a little content. But I don't think he actually thinks that.
Why is it different, and how does that make it worse or better?
We're going to see how different it is. I feel like it's going to be very not similar to RuneScape, except it's going to look a little bit like RuneScape 3 characters. I think all the systems are going to be so different. We'll have to see. There's no way to know. I could tell you right now, the player base is not even going to touch close to Old School. If it does, I will be blown away, dude. Like, I don't even know what the game is going to be like, so I don't know.
Described, you know, is better. Yeah, Brighter Shores won't prove anything. It will prove that a game that's made in this style without the nostalgia would not be able to hold a player base, which...
No, it won't prove that, because it could be a bad game in that style and is not able to hold a player base because it's a bad game, but we'll never know until we play it, and then maybe we're like, hey, it's a bad game, and then we think that maybe that's why.
Is what my... we're not be able to hold a large player base and grow. I like Jimmy a lot. Jimmy's come into my chat before, and I think he's really passionate about the game.
True.
And I hope that he doesn't think that I'm like shitting on the game or like saying the game's bad. I don't think the game is bad, but I think that as games have evolved over the years, there have been things that have been improved with games, such as like combat or, you know, like graphics to an extent, right? These graphics are... I actually don't think the graphics in this game are like really that problematic. But I can see where a lot of people would not like them, especially with like the character models, etc. So yeah.
Yeah, when are we getting the like updated female head model so they actually don't look like fucking like but no. I will gripe about the player models. I think that's maybe the one gripe I have about RuneScape. It's like the shitty, sometimes you put on a piece of armor and you're like, it's got a chunk of skin here for no reason, and the glove gets stuck to the robe, and it's like...
Yeah. If this came out now, it would be on mobile. That's a good point, actually. You're right. Can you play OSRS on mobile?
Yes.
You can? Good. I didn't know if they made phones good enough for that. That's why I had to have a Starforge PC for OSRS.
Ooh, nice plug.
Because of the high graphical demand. But
good plug.
We can watch this WoW video. I will watch Jimmy's WoW video. I will.
I'm excited for him to watch the WoW video if he ever does. I don't know if it's going to be like a situation with him playing Genshin Impact, of him saying he's going to, just never does. If he does, Asmon, if you do watch this video, somehow see this, and you watch my WoW video, try and let me know before you watch it, because I would love to hop on and like talk about the video itself, like all the things that I talked about after you finish watching it, to kind of elaborate more on things, because I did get a little more WoW experience since then. I have a few different opinions now. It'd be a fun discussion. There's a few things I'd want to talk about more, especially since the video's like 4 months old now. Just putting that out there. But other than that, that was cool that he reacted to it. I disagree with most of the things.
How do I find myself agreeing with both of them? But they just like dug their heels and they're like, no, I'm right and I can't. Wait, am I crazy? I feel like I'm the one where everyone in the chat's going to be like, finally, the voice of reason, 9rain, of all people.
Things he said, but, you know, and again, like I said at the beginning, this is just a discussion about a video game.
No, this is of dire importance.
I respect Asmon. As you can see, he respects me as a creator. We're just playing games. Anything outside of this discussion, it just doesn't matter.
I hate both of these people. I don't watch their videos unless people beg me to react to them. And I don't think I'll be watching any more in the future. This is the last time I'm probably ever going to react to a Jimmy video. And I'm glad it's almost over.
This is all just fun. It's stuff we're passionate about. Just keep...
I'm not having fun.
Keep that in mind. You know, it's all just... We're chilling, dude. Don't fuck up the vibe check. You know what I mean? I think that's all I got. Take it easy.
Okay. I can't believe that was an hour and 6 minutes. How long have you guys suffered through this? Jesus Christ. What did we learn? Did we come to any kind of consensus? What are my closing thoughts on the matter? I'm not sure we learned anything. And the scariest part for me in all of this is now I am just realizing that I have to go back and rewatch me reacting to Jimmy, reacting to Asmongold, reacting to Jimmy's video. That was a reaction to Jimmy's reaction to Asmongold reacting to his video one more time because I have to edit all this. So it gets one layer deeper. Thanks for watching, guys.